The Story King, where every tale holds a secret worth discovering. The Alpha King's pup suffered every day, until the new Maid found something horrifying in his fur. The Alpha King did not howl when his son cried. That was the first thing everyone learned about King Aldrich Blackmane. In the Shadowfang Keep, where stone corridors echoed with power and fear, pain was a weakness to be mastered. Tears were silenced quickly, and the Alpha King's only pup, small, quiet Rowan, learned early that suffering was something to endure alone. Rowan whimpered in the dark corner of the nursery, claws digging into the rug as another sharp pain rippled through his body. His fur, silver black like his father's, itched and burned as though something beneath it was alive. He bit down on his lip. No crying. Crying brought attention. Attention brought punishment. What no one knew, not the guards, not the servants, not even the Alpha King himself, was that Rowan suffered every single day. And the reason was hidden deep within his fur. Ellen arrived at Shadowfang Keep on a rain-soaked morning, her cloak thin, her hands rough from years of scrubbing floors in lesser packs. She was no one important, just a new maid assigned to the nursery wing. Keep the rooms clean, speak only when spoken to, the steward warned her, and do not touch the Alpha King's son. Ellen nodded, eyes lowered, but the moment she stepped into the nursery, she felt it. The room was too quiet. A child should have laughed here, played, broken things. Instead, Rowan sat curled by the window, staring at the storm with eyes far too old for his small face. Ellen's heart tightened. She worked silently for days, observing. Rowan flinched at sudden sounds. He avoided touch. He scratched at his arms when he thought no one was looking. And every night, every single night, she heard muffled whimpers through the wall. Something was wrong, very wrong. On the seventh day, Rowan collapsed. It happened suddenly. One moment he was walking across the room, the next his knees buckled and he crumpled like a broken toy. Ellen dropped the linens and ran to him without thinking. "Don't touch me," Rowan whispered weakly, panic flashing in his eyes. "Please, he'll be angry." Ellen ignored the fear and gathered him gently into her arms. He was burning, not with fever, but with something else. His skin crawled beneath her fingers. As she laid him on the bed, her hand brushed his shoulder, parting the thick fur. And she froze. Something moved, tiny, black, embedded deep in the roots of his fur. Her breath caught. Parasites, alpha bane ticks, forbidden, illegal, lethal over time. Someone had put them there. Ellen had seen alpha bane ticks once before, in war camps. They burrowed into wolf shifters, feeding on strength, magic, and blood. Left untreated, they caused pain, weakness, and eventually death. Rowan wasn't sick. He was being poisoned, and it wasn't accidental. These parasites had been carefully planted, hidden where only someone trusted could reach. Ellen's hands shook. Who would dare harm the Alpha King's pup? Unless they believed the Alpha King would never notice. Rowan whimpered as another wave of pain seized him. Ellen made a decision that would either save his life, or cost her own. That night, Ellen did the unthinkable. She carried Rowan out of the nursery and into the forbidden wing. The Alpha King's chambers. Guards snarled as she approached. "I must see him," she said, voice steady despite the terror clawing at her chest. "Your future king is dying." The doors burst open. King Aldrich Blackmane stood tall and terrifying, his golden eyes glowing in the torchlight. "What have you done?" he growled, seeing his son in her arms. Ellen fell to her knees. "Please," she said, lifting Rowan's trembling form. "Look at his fur." A dangerous silence fell. Aldrich stepped closer. He touched Rowan for the first time in weeks, and felt it, the wrongness. His hand parted the fur, and his snarl shook the castle. The parasites wreathed beneath Rowan's skin. Aldrich's control shattered. The room trembled as his aura exploded outward, cracking stone and extinguishing flames. "Who," he said softly, dangerously, "did this?" Rowan stirred, eyes fluttering open. "Father," he whispered. The Alpha King froze. His expression, feared across kingdoms, broke. Aldrich gathered his son carefully, as if afraid he might shatter him. "I didn't know," he murmured, voice raw. "I swear I didn't know." For the first time, the Alpha King howled. Not in rage, but in grief. Elin worked through the night with healers summoned from distant packs. One by one, the Alpha Bane ticks were removed, each extraction stealing a cry from Rowan's throat and a flinch from his father's heart. Aldrich never left his side. He held Rowan's hand through every moment of pain. "You're strong," he whispered. "Stronger than I ever was." Tears soaked into Rowan's pillow. By dawn, the parasites were gone. But the betrayal remained. The truth came swiftly. It was the Alpha King's advisor, an elder who believed Rowan too weak to rule. He had ordered the poisoning, confident the child would fade quietly. He was wrong. The punishment was swift and merciless. But Aldrich found no satisfaction in it. He had failed his son. From that day forward, Shadowfang Key changed. Rowan no longer slept alone. Aldrich visited every night, reading old pack legends in a low voice, his massive form curled protectively around his pup. Elin was promoted, not to servant, but to guardian. Rowan smiled more, laughed, even, and when he ran through the halls, stronger with each passing week, the Alpha King watched with pride and guilt that never fully faded. But he learned, power did not mean distance. Love did not mean weakness. Months later, Rowan stood before the pack, head held high. "I survived," he said simply, "and I will protect what my father once could not see." Aldrich bowed his head to his son. The pack followed, and Elin, standing at the edge of the hall, knew one truth above all others. Sometimes, it takes an outsider to expose the darkest horrors. And sometimes, love is the fiercest strength an alpha can claim. The Story King, where every tale leaves you changed.